I am the Research Development Manager at mCROSH and the person standing between you and lunch. Okay, so lunch is out there. We stepped out and set out the truck, scoped out lunch, looks great. I promise I'll be 10 minutes overview of mCROSH in exchange for you stopping by the truck on your way out. Okay, so that's the arrangement we'll make. So mCROSH is the Center for Research in Occupational Safety and Health. If you've not heard of us before, we are a research center at Laurentian University on campus. So you might be familiar with the Ben Avery building, the one with the pool. We are located inside that same building. We have an office, lab space, and a research space there on campus. And what really our primary objective is to conduct relevant, not redundant, research in the areas of occupational health and safety across Northern Ontario, or the industries that are represented primarily across Northern Ontario. So that's primarily our mission. We have roughly 40 faculty members that are affiliated with mCROSH at Laurentian University, and some faculty researchers from outside of Laurentian. And at any given time, we have roughly 30 graduate students who are either completing their master's or PhD and studying with those faculty members at Laurentian University. And we primarily have three. Let's see if I could have learned something from Melissa or not to use that. Okay, I didn't get that trick. There it is. All right, I got it. So primarily in three areas: one in human factors and ergonomics, so many of the things that you're hearing about here today. One in generally in the area of occupational health and wellness, things like mental health, sleep, and intervention research. And then in the area of occupational physiology and the environment, so things like fatigue, heat stress, exposure to particulate, etc. In an effort to make sure that our research is relevant to the industries represented across Northern Ontario, we've adopted what we call a field to lab to field approach. So any research project that we are taking on or that we are working on doesn't just come up from ourselves. We're not concocting research ideas in the lab and trying to solve a problem and then publish more articles so that there's 17,302 on carpal tunnel syndrome. The idea is that we begin our research projects in the field with a workplace partner and begin to understand as well as we can the problem in the workplace or in that workforce. And then what we do is we learn as much about it there as we can, take that information back to our lab, our physical space at Laurentian, and begin to test or develop solutions to that problem. Again, not with the aim of then just handing that back to the organization, but with the objective of reevaluating its implementation back in the field alongside with the workplace partner. And so central to our ability to do that is something that's new to us, is called mCROSH, or a Mobile Research Lab, and so we have it parked outside. It's a picture of it here. It's a 40-foot truck that is a completely outfitted research lab on the inside. And this allows us to visit workplaces across Northern Ontario directly and be able to conduct, again, the two components there that I talked about, the two field components. This vehicle was purchased with the an investment from Ontario's Ministry of Labour and with support of Laurentian's Goodman School of Mines. So just to acknowledge that. On the inside of the vehicle, you will be able to see it here today, but for those online, there are a few photos. There is a full clinical space, a fully functioning clinical space. I'm pointing on that one, but here where there can be one-on-one interviews or assessments taking place by our researchers. There's also a common space that's meant to be fairly multi-purpose, that you can use it for a classroom setting if you want to have a small training module, or we have our research technologist here who's taking it to, say, even a construction site where you might not have just a clean, quiet space to talk with the workers for a few moments, tell them about the research project, outfit them with a piece of equipment or two before sending them back out into the field, into their truck, where they'll collect measures for you over the course of the day. And so that area is particularly diverse. And we have, again, like I said, the truck here that we'd welcome you to walk through. And I would just touch on this next component because the truck allows us to get out into the field, but then back at our lab, we have what will be operational this coming September is a workplace simulator. So 3 components. So the first being a motion platform. So this is an entirely programmable rotopod where we can take measurements out in the field. So if we're measuring a scoop or a backhoe or any other piece of equipment, we can replicate that exact pattern or profile in the lab. But not only just those conditions, we can replicate the ambient environmental temperature and conditions. So things like humidity, we can wheel this rotopod in and out of an environmental chamber where we can replicate those conditions. And then Brandon will have for you in the lab also some eye tracking capabilities where we're looking at or using for line of sight research and other applications. So the three of these components are integrated in one in that workplace simulator. One of the ways that we would encourage also you to connect with us is we host a monthly webinar series that is free, that you can learn about some of the research projects that are happening. Our lineup is set for this coming year. The information is definitely all on our website for you to sign up for those, and they're all archived on the website as well. So there's a half dozen or so that have already taken place that you can go on and learn about some of the research projects happening at mCROSH. And then pictured on the bottom are just some of the examples of research brochures or flyers and handouts that we have in the truck that you can grab as well. One of the, I'll put in the shameless plug at this point if I can. This coming fall, there's mentioned a few times of ACE, or the Association for Canadian Ergonomists, hosts an annual conference, and that moves around the country from year to year. And it's in its 49th year that this year mCROSH has partnered with ACE to have the conference here in Sudbury. So I'll just let you know that event is happening. You can save the date. There's the website there, ACE Ergo Canada's website, where all of the conference information can be found. Call for papers is open for those of you who might be interested in submitting a paper to present there, but also any information surrounding attending that conference and what speakers or topics might be covered can be found there. You could also talk to myself about that, or Peg, who is involved with the organizing committee as well. And so that, I hope, was less than...
mCROSH is the Center for Research in Occupational Safety and Health, and our mission is basically to solve critical issues relevant to northern workers and northern industries. And we do that by engaging both workers and workplaces at all stages of the research. So we have what we call an approach of field to lab to field research, which means we go into the workplace to have the workers in the workplace identify what the problem is and to understand the problem within the workplace context. Then we bring it back to the lab and we try and troubleshoot, come up with solutions to the problem. And if we think we have a viable solution to the problem, then we go back into the workplace to test it out.
So this is our wearable portable eye tracker. So we use this a lot in the field research with heavy equipment operators, whether in construction or in mining. So we wanted to just see how drivers their operating behaviors are. So it's very simple for field research purposes. We're able to just throw the glasses on. It's really quick. We have just a data logger you can throw in the pocket or rest beside them in the cab. And then all we have is a tablet that just connects to it. So we're able to live monitor where they're looking. So there's a camera on these glasses and the sensors to read the pupils. And then so you see it exactly on the screen, and we're able to further analyze it with the data stored on the data logger. So say we throw cameras on the truck, or we throw different mirrors on the truck, how are their operating behaviors changing with regards to that? So we can get them to perform their regular work duties with and without different technologies. Another use that we have is looking at training. So if we have experienced drivers that have been operating equipment their entire career for years and years, we can get them to do a trial or get them to do their work duties, or whether it's in mining, if we have them driving underground in the scoop, we're able to see how an experienced driver scans the environment, assesses hazards, and then we can go and look at all the different trainees, people that have never touched equipment before, people that have never been underground before, and see where the differences lie there.
Some other great projects that we have going on is the Toolbox vibration project, the mining mental health project. We've had work with paramedics in the north, trying to reduce their job stress. Traditionally, workers in Northern Ontario have been excluded, right, because of their geographical distance, and so they haven't been able to participate in research. So what this allows us to do is we can go to a work site in Terrace Bay, set up outside of the work site, not put any burden in on the work site itself in terms of needing to provide us with space or bathrooms. The workers can come out and we can do test measurements or set them up with equipment, and basically we can park on site for the data collection period. And like I say, nobody else can do that. This is the only occupational health and safety lab in Canada, basically, that can drive up to these communities and offer engagement that way.